Holy Mother of Mothra, SH Figuarts made Sadako. That's Sadako Yamamura, the psychic killer phantom and dark heart of the Ring cycle. If you've never met before, then at the very least her trope precedes her. You know, the scary long-haired, obscure-faced, deadly ghost girl that appeared all over the place in the early 2000s? Yeah, well, it all started with her. Sadako first appeared in the 1991 horror novel Ring by Koji Suzuki, and later its two sequels, Spiral in '95 and Loop in '98. She cursed her first feature film in the 1995 telemovie titled, you guessed it, Ring, until it was later retitled Ring the Complete Edition. This thing was so popular that producers gave the go-ahead to make not one, but two theatrical movies, film versions of Ring and its sequel, Spiral. Helmed by different directors, both films were released simultaneously, yeah, at the very same time, in January of 1998. And that's where things really went viral. It was unarguably the vision of director Hideo Nakata that caused Ring, as well as Sadako, to gouge out their place in global pop culture. Restrained and just beautifully creepy, Nakata's Ring went on to become, at least at the time, the highest grossing horror film in Japan ever. It spawned sequels, foreign remakes, television shows, rip-offs, more sequels, and forever ingrained in our minds that image of a ghastly, long-haired apparition crawling out of a television set. While recent years seem to have relegated this once A-list supernatural dame to B-movie status, Figuarts has returned Sadako to when she was scariest, as she appeared in the terrifying climax of Nakata's Ring. It's pretty rad to have a creepy-as-hell plastic rendition of this Japanese horror icon. The only Sadako toys I ever recall seeing were either plushies or an incredibly overpriced, no points of articulation vinyl figure. I think it was made by Marmot or something. This toy? This is about as solid representation as you're ever gonna get for this character. And what a toy it is. I mean, this is SH Figuarts after all, where the strongest points about them is just the degree of personality you can get. There are 3 different heads to swap out here. The main one actually has removable hair that reveals, boo! Wow. That would be a nifty little reference to the police clay-faced mold of Sadako in Ring 2. Interesting inclusion. Of course, it makes more sense once you peg in a second hairpiece that is slightly parted to recreate the infamous eye look. Remember that? It happens right before the ghost gal kills our male protagonist Ryuji in Ring. Yeah, that's kinda creepy. The other heads are mostly for her, secondary mode. Yeah, she's a transformer now, I guess. So swap out clothing, put her legs in position, and voila! An eerie wench if there ever was one. The second head is okay here, but swap it out for the head with the hair pulled upon the ground and you get a creeptastically disturbing effect. The extra pair of hands go great here as well. They're nasty, crawling ones. Just look at the fingertips, nailless, just like in the movies. Hell yeah to detail, man. As far as effects parts go, you get an itty-bitty cursed VHS tape which feels more like a hey, ain't this cool edition more so than anything else. The coolest bit though is Ryuji's old school big screen TV displaying that horrid old well. If that wasn't enough, you pop out the screen, put another one in, peg in Sadako, and you've suddenly just recreated the scene where she frickin' climbs out of the TV set. How cool is that? A prop that most probably would have liked to have had is, well, a well. But seriously, I actually prefer the TV. Climbing out of this seems much more dramatic for the figure than climbing out of that. Plus, I mean, there's always hope for a properly scaled well once they do an SH Figuarts Buffalo Bill.
It rubs the lotion on its skin or else it gets the hose again.
I really had no idea that I would ever want a Ring toy, but this thing is pretty sweet. Of course, you only purchase Sadako if you're a Ring nerd or horror buff, and at a price tag of $40 to $50, I'd say she's well worth it. Yeah, also, if you guys have absolutely no exposure to the Ring series, at least do yourself a favor and watch Hideo Nakata's Ring. Probably easily in my top 10 horror movies of all time, and certainly a piece of Japanese cinematic history that should interest toku buffs with a broader taste than just spandex hero and rubber-suited mega animals. Anyhow, gang, for Sadako's sake, keep watching more tokusatsu and J-horror for the good of mankind, and